book about octopus. Teacher, what is an octopus? Boy, an 8-sided cat.
Infantry?
What, dear?
Infantry?
Dad, can I join the army? No, you're only an infant. Well, I could be in the infantry. Franklin was in the infantry, I think, honey. There's only 6 divisions in the U.S. Army. Infantry, cavalry, mountain. You know that? So you've got to be in the infantry, and the infantry has 91 subdivisions. So I asked Lieutenant Brown, and he's going to research that for me and find out which one of the subdivisions Franklin was on D-Day, as they said in the English Channel. Oh, boy. Okay.
Half-brother?
What, dear?
Half-brother?
What was that?
Half-brother? Like H-A-L-F, half?
Oh, is that the name of the show?
Yeah.
Policeman. Who is that? Little boy. He's my brother. Policeman. He's kind of small, isn't he? Little boy. That's because he's my half-brother.
TV set for sale?
What, dear?
TV set for sale.
Oh, TV set for sale. By a woman who doesn't want to watch violence, so it's not used much. It's a joke there. You have to work on it. Okay.
Cocker Spaniel.
Oh, a man is walking down the street with a darling Cocker Spaniel puppy in his arms, and he meets his friend, and he says to his friend, "What do you think of this Cocker Spaniel I got for my wife?" And his friend said, "That's not a bad trade."
Test ban.
What was that?
Test ban. Test ban.
Can you spell it?
T-E-S-T.
Oh, test ban.
Yeah.
2 boys are walking down the street, and one says to the other, "What do you think about a test ban?" He says, "Good, I don't like taking them anyway." A ban on tests.
G not live.
What was that, dear?
G not live.
Oh, that was funny. Back in 1962, WRGB Channel 6, General Electric, Schenectady, Troy, and Albany got their first videotape machine. Their first videotape machine. I kid you not. Probably you can't see how wide it was and how tall it was. And it was an Ampex. And it came in with cranks and winches and everything. The videotape, folks, was 2 inches wide. And a spool was this big, an hour. An hour of video was this big, this wide. And look, I'm going to show you what we have today. Hold still. Let me find it. This is what we have today. This is the camera, and there's no tape at all. It's all electrons. There's no tape at all. There's an SD card in there that's as big as the end of half of a lima bean. It's as big as the half of a lima bean. And it will do 90 hours of video. Okay, so the WRGB got in their video tape machine, and they decided to tape the SS Glendora instead of doing it live. Well, they made so many mistakes, and they had to back up and do it over so many times that by the time they got it taped, it was time for it to go live on TV. But Glendora had left for Buffalo because she lived in Buffalo and went to Buffalo on the weekends on New York Central. And a little boy came in to be on the Freddie Freilhofer show. And he ran up to Mae Dunn, an angel, at the front desk. And all of excitement, he says, "Can I see Glendora?" And May, without realizing how it sounded to the boy, said, Glendora isn't live today. She said the look that came over his face. Okay, honey, what's next?
Perfect couple.
Oh, the perfect couple. She's a hypochondriac and he's a pill. Bob and Jonah, the perfect couple.
Loophole.
What, dear?
Loophole.
Spell it.
Loop. Hole. HOLE.
Can you say it?
Loop.
Loophole.
Yeah, loophole.
Yes. The accountant said to his client that he was very proud. Why? Well, he was such a good client, he was such a good accountant that the American Society of Accountants named the loophole after him.
License plates.
What was that?
License plates.
Yes, the accountant said to his client, I can't work for you anymore. I've got a job working for the state. And his client said, why, congratulations. What are you going to do for the state? And he said, make license plates.
Okay, that was 10.
Oh, okay.
Those are good.
Folks, the name of this show is A Chat with Glendora. It's been on TV for 53 years. We are on show number 14,239. Is that correct?
Yes.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And we have the Glendora Public Access Television Network, which serves 500 municipalities on 72 TV stations across the United States. Boston, Quincy, Bridgeport, Connecticut, Pittsfield, Springfield, all Westchester County. Anyway, 72 of them, big ones. Philadelphia, Chicago, Atlanta, Trenton. Someday I'll name them all to you if you want to hear them. And we have goals. One is to keep reminding all of us. The reason we're on television is to keep reminding all of us that when all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others. Stop and think about it. Others includes animals. How did you treat animals? Did you lay down your money at the supermarket to pay somebody to go out and brutalize an animal and then bring it to you to chew and eat blood and muscle and intestines? And then another thing we remind you of is what is real. Only love is real. The other one isn't real. Or we say if you want to believe it's real, don't think about it. Do you know the great thing that David Brown and Hoagland, what's Hoagland's first name, said this morning on Sentinel Watch, Christian Science? Mary Baker Eddy's Key to the Scriptures. Christian Science with Key to the Scriptures. You know what they said about love? It's unlimited. Did you ever stop and think of that? It's unlimited. You can go to the cupboard and get as much love as you want. Isn't that beautiful? So these are our messages. Go vegan. Don't lie, steal, or cheat. Think only and do only and speak only love. Okay. And I think now, dear April, if you would be so kind as to get out those happy happenings. We try to think of the happy things and be happy about them.
Okay. Okay, let's see.
What date are you going to start?
Let's see. So the first one, or the earliest, is June 25th. That's Sunday.
What is it, dear?
June 25th.
Okay.
And you have Amy and Glenn did all the work.
Oh, good. And April is on vacation, and Consumer Direct paid her for that vacation.
Mm-hmm. Sunshine.
Oh, he had sunshine, yes.
Then it goes to June 26th. Brittany about John Kennedy.
Oh, Brittany is reading to me. Now, there's an example of love. Brittany in Voorheesville. She reads to Glendora 3 days a week for a half an hour. And for the past 6 or 7 days, she's been reading the biography of John Kennedy. It's just fascinating. Oh, it is so fascinating. Okay, get going.
Kitten's New Homes.
What, dear?
Kitten's New Home. Kitties. The Kitten's New Home.
Who?
Kitten. Kitten.
Oh, Madeline found a home for 2 kittens. She rescued a cat who turned out to be a mother cat and had 6 kittens. And she found a home through a friend at the veterinarians of a friend of friend. And it is the loveliest home, and the people are the nicest people, and they live in Mechanicville. Next year.
Timmy Owens, 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock.
Yeah, Timmy Owen came from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. He's a Seventh-day Adventist, and of course he's vegan. Ellen White insisted on veganism for 3 reasons. The Bible in Genesis 1:19 says you eat herbs and plants. And the second reason you should be vegan is the cruelty to animals. Stop that. And of course the third reason is prima facie health. Health. Here's Glennie at 95. No doctors, no medicine, and vegan.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Crash early morning.
What was that, hon?
Crash early morning. Is that...
Spell it.
CRASH. Crash early morning.
I don't know what that is, honey.
Maybe it's about the car. The Kia. Maybe it's about that happening.
Richard came home in his Kia car, and he was in his driveway, and he sees smoke coming from under the hood. And so he gets out of the car. And as he gets out of the car, he sees more smoke. And instantly, the whole area under the hood burst into flames 6 feet high. And it burned the car down to a shell. And I said, but Pat, I said to his wife, Pat, I said, that's metal. She says, the flame was so intense that it melted the metal. Think if that had happened on the road. Think as he usually drives home, puts a car in the garage. Think if he'd put it in the garage, the whole garage would have been burned down. The firemen did get the flame away from the house. It had already singed the house. And then we looked it up on the internet, and it said that Kia had been told to recall 570,000 cars. Next, honey.
Let's see. Okay, we'll go to the 27th. What is Christian Science?
Yeah. And I wanted Amy to copy that for you folks. I wanted to read it to you. But, and I'm going to wait because I don't want to say it wrong.
Okay.
It's the belief that the only reality is God, love. And then more beautiful phrases. Let me wait until I have that in my hand.
Okay.
Next.
$100 vegetarian meat.
Oh, yes. And when Timothy came from the Seventh-day Adventists, Ellen White also told every Seventh-day Adventist church to have a store in the back of the church of vegetarian food to supply the members of the church. And so Timothy has a little place called the Schenectady Food Store, and I bought really $100 worth of vegetarian meat, vegetarian hot dogs, vegetarian scallops, vegetarian steaklets, vegetarian sausages, vegetarian pork, and it's delicious. And our friend here, April, does a great job of dipping it into breadcrumbs, Italian breadcrumbs, and deep frying it. Try it, folks. It's called Worthington Loma Linda Tender Bits in a can. It's like pork. It looks and tastes like pork, I guess. Okay.
25 telephone calls.
We make about 40 telephone calls a day. We used to make about 50, but the work isn't as hard as it used to be. It's more organized. Okay.
Bobby Reno.
Bobby Reno, a woman in East Greenbush, the town next to us. Isn't that a funny name for a town, East Greenbush? She was a Negro, and that was coming the emancipation of the slaves during the 1861, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she went to Oberlin College, probably the first black woman to go to Oberlin College, and they treated her despicably. And since the college en masse has apologized to her, posthumously, I assume. And then she decided to go to Boston, and she became a sculptress, and her medium was marble. And then she went to London and became very famous there, and she died and is buried in London. Well, Bobby Reno did the whole history of her and gave it to us in town hall. And then Bobby Reno started agitating that there be a postage stamp in her honor. Her name is Amodia Lewis. Amodia Lewis. And there is such a stamp, and it's come out, and April and I are going to ask Bobby to come and tell you about it. Okay, hon.
Okay. Let's see. Go to...
You don't have to be behind the camera. The camera will take care of itself. Do you think if you brought a chair over here, I could hear you more effectively?
Yeah, I can sit over there.
Okay. We've had more cloudy days than sunny days. We have the fires that are coming down from Canada. We got to work on that one and pray on that one.
Okay.
Even in a disaster like that, you will find love and you will find good. Stop and think about that. Okay, what next?
Billy Graham.
Marion Ricedor, from her own garden, made Glendora homemade strawberry jam. Wow. All right, we'll see what this is. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Hello, it's Glendora.
Hi, Glendora. This is Sandy.
Oh, hi, Sandy. Tell me how you are. Tell me your favorite Bible lesson. Okay, we have trouble with our electrons, so we'll do that later. All right,
Okay.
April.
52,000 radio. Dollar radio. $52,000 radio.
You know, Franklin was a reporter for the Springfield, Massachusetts Union. I'll let the cordless phone, answer it. And a man listening to the radio, WMAS, a CBS affiliate in Springfield, there was a quiz show on music. That man, April, won $52,000 because he had the right answers to the music questions.
Huh.
Plus, he won $27,000 worth of merchandise. So you can imagine the excitement in that man's home, and Franklin was dispatched by the city editor to go up and cover it. Can you imagine winning $52,000? Okay, what else?
Let's see. I'll go to July 3rd. April and Kenzie back.
What was that one, dear?
April and Kenzie back.
Sorry.
April and Kenzie are back.
Oh, yes. April, who was graduated last year from high school and put in her first year, freshman year, at the State University of New York at Geneseo. It's over near Rochester, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And her dog have come back to work. The dog is doing very good work. I don't know about April, but the dog is doing very good work.
Mm-hmm. Electronics bench.
April, what courses are you taking in your sophomore year?
Let's see. I'm taking Chinese. I have dual language. I'm taking Chinese, and I'm doing a stats class, statistics, and I'm doing an anthropology class, and let me think, another foreign policy class, and then I think that's it. Oh, and an environmental lab.
Now, those are wonderful courses, and you say these are training courses for maybe a diplomat or...
For, like international relations and anthropology, so, diplomat or foreign service or just humanitarian aid, anything like that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Most diplomats are appointed by presidents after he wants to give the position to somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
So many diplomats. I can give you an example of that. Well, Hillary Clinton, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I believe
she
so.
didn't win the election, but they had to reward her and they made her a diplomat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, next.
Electronics bench.
What, dear?
Electronics bench.
Well, electronics bench. My dear April is going through every box. Are there 36 of them?
Yes, we did those ones, and then we have the bottom ones.
And tell the folks what's in them.
There's anything from the clothing, like summer pants, sweaters, and there's a bunch of camcorders and tripods and Franklin's keepsakes and tapes, a lot of different stuff like that, DVDs.
April was going on a trip to Georgia for a week, and she said she pointed to this camcorder. Well, this camcorder up here and then this one down here that's a journal. And she says, do I have one of those that she could borrow for her trip? Do I have one of them? I think I have 10 of them, don't I?
Yeah, if not more, yeah.
And we went through them, and we gave her one of my favorites, which is Canon.
Yeah.
And now she has one of the best camcorders there is. It's digital, it's high definition, and it's touch screen. How's it working?
It's
April?
working great. I've been going through the videos I took, so I'll share them.
And then we found another one, a JVC, that was in a pouch, a bag, very elaborate.
Yeah.
And very new. And then there's a Chinese one made in China that is very well dressed, has all kinds of attachments.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 3 or 4 boxes of electronic equipment. Very, very much. There's even some VHS, a chat with Glendora, left over from 15 years ago. Most of them have been thrown away because they've been transferred to DVD. And then there's the archives, right, honey?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Franklin's newspaper articles. He would come home from work every day and paste in 9 by 12 uh, notebook, 3-ring notebook, the articles that he had written that day. He was a great newspaper fan. He would pick up a newspaper downtown, the Philadelphia Inquirer, of course, the New York Times, of course, the Cleveland, the best paper in Cleveland. It's not the Press, it's the other one. Plain dealer. The Chicago Tribune, so forth. And he would pick up all these newspapers because he just loved newspapers. And he was coming home one night with his pile of newspapers under his arm, and he meets the newspaper boy delivering the evening news, and the newspaper boy looked up at him and says, "How's your route going, mister?" Okay.
Cute. Camp Hill.
What, dear?
Camp Hill.
I didn't get it.
Camp Hill. CampHill. Camp Hill.
Oh, Camp Hill. When Franklin and I first moved to Chatham Village, we went to the Methodist Church, of course, and Virginia and Walter Belfour were so kind to us. Oh, they were so kind to us and so Christian. Well, Ginny fulfilled a life of doing good deeds, and Walter went to the Camp Hill. Is it a nursing home or a retirement home?
I think it's a retirement home.
And he's 97 years old. His son from Schenectady comes to see him maybe once, twice a week, and his daughter-in-law. But the others ones are out of town in Pennsylvania and Ohio. So they don't get there often. Think how lonesome that man must be. But you say it's pretty nice, isn't it?
It is. It's very nice there.
And our darling April went 2 days ago, went over there to Camp Hill and found him and stayed with him an hour. Just gave him a chance to talk and be visited with and be helped. And when you went, you said you went in, there were other people having a 4th of July party?
Yeah, they were just getting ready to go outside to do a little celebration.
I just don't think you can beat that, what she did. I just don't think you can beat it. Okay, beyond Camp Hill?
And then we have Veterans Food Pantry.
Better what?
Veterans Food Pantry.
Oh, yes, the veterans. Gary Flaherty told me that one of his veterans, he's in charge of the veterans for Columbia County, told me that one of his veterans said, I had to make a decision whether to feed my kids or my dog, and I had to give up my dog. Well, Gary says, let's take care of that. And Gary did all of the machinations, and he set up a food pantry for veterans. They insist I'm a veteran, even though it was Franklin who was in World War II 5.5 years. So they call me a veteran. They invited us to partake of their food pantry. What was it, bread and cereal?
Yeah, and there's like soups and beans and peanut butter and canned goods and a lot of different stuff, fun stuff.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Next.
Okay, we're up to July 4th. We're at 28 minutes, though. Do you want to keep going?
Yes, it was a wonderful July 4th.
Yeah.
Doing, helping out people and people helping us out. It was grand. No fireworks. I did not hear one firecracker.
Mm-mm.
I bet you did.
I heard a couple, but a lot of them were canceled because of the storm. So a lot of them happened yesterday night.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, there wasn't many.
Is that at the 4th, and what's the 5th?
Well, at the 4th right now, we have Lori Dunnigan.
Lori Dunnigan. She grew up in Nova Scotia, Canada. And she's the most adventurous woman. And I met her because I called Columbia High School to see if they wanted to have anybody have a good job. And Lori Donovan, the guidance counselor, didn't call me back, but Lori, and you wanted to know why she called me back? Because I sounded like her grandmother. she says, I'm going to come over and see you. She just heard her grandmother's voice and my voice. And she came over to see me, and I look like her grandmother. And she has become a fast friend.
Mm-hmm.
What did she give you, April?
The Dead Sea soap.
And where did it come from?
The
bottom of the Dead Sea?
Yes, I think so. I forget where she got it exactly.
And she's global. Atlanta, India. Her husband is a pilot for the American Airlines. He flies 40,000 feet in the air. He flies at 560 miles an hour. He's gone on flights to India that last 15 hours. And if there's any empty seats, you know, an employee of American Airlines can have them.
Mm-hmm.
So she's global. You never know where she is. But faithfully, she comes here once a week. And last week, she brought her 2 sisters. And they look alike and sound alike. I don't know what they look like, but I know what they sound exactly alike.
Mm-hmm.
One is from Ottawa, 500 miles. And one is from Nova Scotia. That's 1,500 miles.
Mm-hmm. They do look alike, too.
They came here for 14 days. And our smart April found the David Letterman appearance of Glendora. And that just made them so happy. All right. Where are we up to April 6th?
We just have up to April 4th right now. That's
okay,
it.
Well, July 5th was only yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we didn't write that yet. So what happened yesterday?
Well, we got the daily spick and span done, didn't we?
Yes.
We're trying to keep the bookkeeping to relieve Wayne Collins of so much of it.
Mm-hmm.
And tell them what happened, honey. We almost got it.
Yeah, we did. Most of our numbers matched his numbers, so all the money was well sorted out.
So maybe in the next month of August, he can have a vacation.
Yeah.
Okay, what else did we accomplish yesterday? Today we're going to have that deep fried pork couplets, deep fried pork tender bits in breadcrumbs. And we're going to have sweet potato baked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And rice-a-roni.
And peas and corn.
Yeah. Corn off the cob, not corn on the cob. Well, that's it. Would you go see how much time we have, if any?
I don't think we do. I think we might be over.
Folks, that reminds me. If you were told you had a month to live, what would you do with it? If you were told you had a month of good health to live, what would you do with it? How many minutes, honey?
I think we're at 32. We're over a little bit.
We're at 32?
Yeah, so we're over a little bit.
Goodbye, everybody. I'm sorry.